Friends, how are you doing? Let's have just a little chat here about two stocks that I think a lot of people are obsessed with. I know I am. So talking about Robinhood and talking about SoFi, and obviously, I see the comments, I see people chatting, I see it all, and it's good to get an idea when you go into chat rooms, whether it's Webull chat room, StockTwits, Reddits, things. It's just to see what people are thinking. What's going on in investors' mind? What is the atmosphere out there with just company stocks? Where are people at? And I get a lot of comments, obviously, and a lot of people seem to think that Robinhood is going to be this a lot bigger than SoFi, and they're going to do better, and they could absolutely. It's almost like a little bit of a race that we're seeing right now with both these companies, and both of them are stronger suited in different areas that they've focused on for longer period of time. But there could be a moment in time here in the future where they kind of meet up with each other and see who prevails. But that's a different time zone of where we're at right now. So let's talk about that. So friends, I hope you are well, and I really do mean that. Tomorrow's Monday, and the market's going to be very interesting week in the market. The bond market's been crazy here lately. We've seen tariffs pushback, tech, Apple might do really well tomorrow. We're going to see what happens. It's going to be a very crazy week, more than likely. Here we go again. So talking about Robinhood, Robinhood, their last quarterly was the biggest they've ever seen, hit over $1 billion. People are like, oh my God, stocks, until we had this crash here, that this stock was moving into a $70 range. Now we're where we're at, and the stock has been essentially cut in half. And we're going to have 2 weeks from now, this company will be reporting their Q1 here for this year. Now, obviously, the big thing with Robinhood that I look at and I go, Robinhood has started, the bare backbones of this company, of what they are, the skeleton of them is essentially it's a trading, platform. That's where they made their money. That's where they started. And, Robinhood here has always been a little bit of a bank. They've had, you could keep money with them, okay, just like essentially any trading platform. But Robinhood, as of late, has come out and said, hey, we're actually going to take this banking thing a lot farther, and we're going to push into this. We're going to spend the money, we're going to spend the time, and we are moving forward with that. Robinhood's, they're getting where they have money on hand. They have money in the bank, and this is how companies grow bigger in just unbelievable heights, because they start getting to this realm of where they have capital, they have the means, and they start becoming this very they're not just the wildebeests out there. They start becoming the lions, the hyenas, where they can do what they want. They can start buying up other banks. They can just they have no enemies, essentially. There's not a lot that can harm them. So we're seeing that with both these companies, I would say. That's happening now. Robinhood is in this very unique situation where it's already captured this $1 billion quarterly. Okay, so they've already beat SoFi in that realm. SoFi is, as of right now, has never hit $1 billion quarterly, but that could be changing here in just a few weeks. But Robinhood, it's going to be very interesting to see if Robinhood can keep hitting these $1 billion quarterlies this year. If they do, that would be very, very that'd be wild. That would be wild. That you have a company who went from making an average of 500 to 650, 650 million on a quarterly, average, I would say, for the past year and a half, to where they just start making these $1 billion quarterlies. Okay, even if the next quarterly doesn't hit that well and it still is like $900 million, it's still going to be like, whoa, okay. So with that, Robinhood, this isn't me trying to make a video to say I think you should put your money in this stock more than the other. I think fundamentally both these companies are going to do well into the future. I honestly think that, you're going to see a lot of brick and mortar banks start to really not do as well into the future with the newer generations. And this is one thing that SoFi has greatly clung to. But Robinhood has already achieved this one sector of business, when it comes to who they are, and that's the trading platform. Robinhood. Okay, good, great. They're probably the biggest. They've knocked it out of the park. Whether you like it or not, it's done well. It's made them who they are. It's brought them their money. Okay, now they're moving into this banking sector. They're probably going to do very well into it. It's going to keep pushing along here. It's the smart move to do. Now, obviously, it's going to take time for them to really build the foundation of them as a bank that does loans, applications, credit cards, all kinds of we're talking some time, money here, and they know that, and investors know that. That's why people more than likely are starting to buy shares into it to really push into this new generation of people that are going to be a part of the company when it comes to this next, time zone of quarterlies that we see in the next 5-10 years. Okay. SoFi, still a very affordable stock, still, a stock that has been doing amazing on quarterlies. I mean, it's not a secret there. They haven't really missed anything here. And we're in a situation where this quarterly that's coming up here, this could be the $1 billion quarterly. This is the one everyone is waiting for. So SoFi in the past 6 months here has achieved these loan deals, these $1 billion loan deals. And we should see some massive compounding going on with this next quarterly, okay? But with that too, you have SoFi, like Robinhood. SoFi, on the other hand, started essentially as a student loan program situation, okay? During COVID, a lot of, SoFi almost went out of business. I mean, they got destroyed, okay? So with that, SoFi came in and said, hey, we're actually redirecting the company. We're going to do something different here. And it took time. It took a lot of time. But SoFi, in this past 2-3 years, had become a very aggressive banking company, and they really put a bank, is what I'm saying, and they have really pushed into the new generation to, this, we don't need a brick and mortar store, we are online. And when you download SoFi, you really see fundamentally why younger generation is really adapting to who they are as a bank. Extremely easy to apply for credit cards, loans, all kinds of loans, personal, car, house, whatever. I mean, right there on your phone. You can buy stocks through their app. I mean, you can open up an account with them. It's free, but they offer all this, unlike a lot of banks. So this is why I say too, SoFi is becoming this, very aggressive, lion out there in the world of, older banks that are just like, it's almost with this weird thing where you look at these older banks. I look at these older banks and I go they're just fat and happy. They have all this money, but they're not really progressing into this technology aspect of where I see Robinhood going, and I see SoFi going too. And it's very interesting that, if these two companies keep pressing into what they're doing right now, they're undoubtedly going to be predators out there amongst these other banks here into the future. And that's great if you're willing to go along with them and take this ride. So like I said, SoFi has these quarterlies coming up, and these Q1s that we're about to see here with SoFi, they could be amazing. I mean, they could be the ones that really set the tone for what's coming this year. So friends, like I said, I don't want to make this a long video, but I just want to, say this, that I don't think it's a situation of picking or choosing which of these companies is going to do better. I think a lot of them, Robinhood is going to be in this realm for a while that, people are just going to use the majority of it for a trading platform. Okay. And people with SoFi, they're obviously using it for a bank, but SoFi being a bank has, I would say that they already have a lot more, pillars set up for them as an institution, as a bank, and they've done a lot of things here just in the past 8 months that is really going to push them forward into the next 2 years. So, I look at SoFi and I look at SoFi and I go this is a company that, if people are willing to take this very hardship ride with them, this could be a company, in the next 5 years, we could be talking about a lot bigger numbers. We would love to see a dividend attached to the stock here in the future. And, who knows, 5-10 years from now, who knows, hopefully sooner, we could see a stock split. But obviously we're talking about a different market. We're talking about different quarterlies. We're talking about, they need to keep making the money. They need to keep getting, people to make accounts and moving forward what they're doing right now. So if we can continue to see this, SoFi will do very well. And I say SoFi most likely because SoFi is still very affordable to people. Robinhood, you're paying for a lot of things. You're paying for Robinhood is who they are, the popularity. There's a lot of stuff attached to Robinhood when you're buying it. But Robinhood, with that $1 billion quarterly that they came out with, it's very telling that, they're going to continue to bring out some massive quarterlies here. And if they can keep their quarterlies probably above $800,000, around $900,000, that's still very, very good for them. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money for a very new company in going into the banking sector. Not to mention that they still probably are going to be in the top of holding, people's attention for, a trading platform. So very two unique companies. Stocks to hold. One is obviously pretty cheap right now where everyone can afford it, and one is a little expensive and probably going to get a lot more expensive. But this is not a video where I'm telling you to pick or choose. I think both of these are two stocks that I will be holding into the future because I'm very excited about where they're going as a company, and we're not seeing any pullback. Where these companies are doing bad. Okay. SoFi has taken a beating on the stock price. It doesn't mean SoFi is a bad company. It just means the stock is the price is struggling. We've seen this time and time again with SoFi. It's nothing new if you've been with it. Even Robinhood here, obviously the price has been cut in half, but trying to make its way back up. But more than likely, where we are with this market right now, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to build up positions in these companies if there's something that you want to hold into the future. So, friends, like I said, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'm excited about tomorrow. We'll see where this market goes, what it's going to do. I know these stocks right here, they're not at, exciting. They're not big tech stocks, all that kind of stuff. But fundamentally, these are things that, they're probably going to be good for you into the future. If you're putting them in a Roth IRA, you're putting them, you're building them up just a general account. As far as we can see right now with the evidence, these two companies, these two stocks are going to continue to do well. Right now, I wouldn't look at stock price. I would look at, the fundamentals, where they're moving forward. Are they moving forward? Are they hitting quarterlies? Are they, how aggressive are quarterlies growing? These are things that you want to pay attention to, obviously. And I think too, as these two companies start to grow, I think like I said in the beginning here, you're going to see them start to become the aggressor and start to probably buy up some little known banks, some things that you weren't expecting, but they're reaching out with their tentacles, and I think you're going to start to see that as we go on in the future here. So friends, I'm shutting up. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye everyone.